welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about the reintroduction phase of the low Fodmap diet. Now, if you're not sure what the low Fodmap diet is, make sure you check out my other videos of me doing the elimination part of the challenge, as now we're moving on to the second phase, which is reintroduction. So I was on the elimination phase for 8 weeks before starting this, and most people are on that stage for about 6 to 8 weeks to make sure that all of your gut issues settle so that you're ready to start the second phase of the diet. So reintroduction, as you can probably tell by the name, is about reintroducing different foods. So how this is done is over the course of a few days, you increase the amount of food. So starting on the first day, you'd have half a serving, the second day you have a serving, and the third day you have 1.5 servings. However, lots of dietitians give advice about doing this differently. Some people say to do larger amounts depending on the size that you normally eat. Some to say to stick to those exact measurements. Basically, where you look is going to depend on how you start doing this diet. So I've looked at a lot of things, and I'm going to kind of do the half, full, and then 1.5 servings that they recommend for each of the foods. I would say to watch a lot of like YouTube videos and talk to your dietitian. Obviously, definitely do this with a dietitian. Unfortunately, with my dietitian, I was meant to have an appointment on the 1st of January about starting this phase, but she's now left, so I'm not getting an appointment until February, so I'm doing the first part of this on my own. So I have been watching a lot of YouTube videos. The NHS one was about 50 minutes long. I found that really useful. I've taken screenshots, and there's also some more which I'll link down below that really helped me. So it's about basically gradually increasing the amounts over a few days to then see if you have symptoms. So while you're doing the reintroduction, you're still on a low Fodmap diet, and even if a food is safe and you don't get triggers, you still cut it out afterwards so it doesn't affect the other foods that you're eating. So for example, if I chose to introduce garlic first, I would have, I think it's a 1/4 teaspoon on the first day, a 1/2 teaspoon on the second day, and 3/4 teaspoon of a clove on the third day. And then I would wait 3 days to see if I have any symptoms. Obviously, after the first day, if you do get symptoms, you know that you're triggered to that amount, so you can cut it out completely. Whereas if you make it to the third day and you've not had any symptoms, then you then wait 3 days to get your gut time to sort of like heal itself. And also sometimes it takes 1 day to see symptoms happening, and therefore you know by that time if that is a trigger for you or not. However, other places say to do a rest day after each amount, just because sometimes it takes a little bit longer for that to move through your system. My dietitian says to do the first one where you do 1, 2, 3 and then 3 rest days, but some dietitians do recommend doing a test, a break, a test, a break, a test, a break. But I will not be doing that one. So there are 5 groups that you need to reintroduce. This means it takes about 6 to 10 weeks, as some of those you need to try separately, as there's like parts to them. So you've got lactose, fructose, fructans, GOS, which is like galacto-oleosaccharides, and then you've got polyols, which are split into sorbitol and mannitol. So you have to try those separately. So majority of these items you only need to try one from that food group, such as lactose, you can have milk or yogurt, and if you don't react to one, you probably won't react to the other. If you react to one, you are most likely to react to the other. That is the same for most of the food groups. However, the fructans one, that is different. So that includes things like garlic and onion, and they recommend that you try each of those separately, as they don't work in the same way. So for lactose, they recommend milk or yogurt. For fructose, they recommend honey or mango. For GOS, I won't butcher the name of it, again, that is like beans and pulses and stuff. I don't think I'm going to have too much of an issue with this one, as I'm not really a big like beans and pulses person, but obviously we are going to see. The fructans, so this is the one that they have to handle separately, so this is the onion and garlic one. These they recommend try, I think it's garlic, onion and leek, and there are a few others that you can try. Then you also have wheat as a side of this. Obviously I'm not going to be reintroducing wheat, because as we all know, I'm gluten free, hence the name of my Instagram, YouTube and website. So I already know I'm gluten free and it's not anything to do with that, so I won't be introducing this. But they do recommend when you're doing wheat to do like pasta, bread and cereal separately. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's just what I have seen online. Then you get to the polyols, so that is the sorbitol and the mannitol, so you test those separately. So the sorbitol, they recommend having sweet corn or avocado, and then for the mannitol, they recommend having like sweet potato or celery, things like that. Obviously, if you look online, there's a lot more detailed information about it, and speaking to a dietitian, they'll often give you books, which I have this one here, which is the Reintroducing Fodmaps and Long-Term Self-Management, which is through Guy's and St Thomas's NHS Foundation from King's College London. So I would recommend having one of those as well. So one thing you need to remember when doing the reintroduction phase is to make sure that the food item you're trying is only part of one of those groups. Things like apple are part of 2 of the 5 groups and therefore wouldn't be safe, as you wouldn't know which group you're reacting to. So most people don't want to start the reintroduction phase as you've gone this long and you feel so much better, but it is actually quite unhealthy to stay on the elimination phase of the low Fodmap, because as well as getting rid of the bad like bacteria, they say you also start to get rid of the good bacteria if you're on the diet too long. I'm feeling definitely a lot better than before. I'm definitely less bloated, especially after a Sunday roast. I used to feel so much pain, being really gassy, just like having like frequent bowel movements. So I am feeling a lot better. But since being on the elimination diet, I've had some other health issues. So for medical reasons, I've now come off the pill as well, which means I'm getting to know my body again in a whole different way than I'm used to, starting to remember what period cramps were like, and all sorts of symptoms that wouldn't have necessarily been happening at the same time. So I'm trying to sort of get to knowing my body again and knowing what it feels like, to know if it's a food trigger or if it's just a health trigger. I'm probably going to be starting with garlic and onion just because I have missed them so much, and also they're the things I think may be a trigger, especially onion, as after a Sunday roast I am always so painfully bloated that if it's going to be those, I'd rather know straight away, because even if the food is fine, you then have to still cut it out again. I'm also wondering if maybe raw foods and cooked foods are different. I think I'm just going to sort of see and go from there. Obviously I'm not doing the wheat, I think, and then after I've done garlic and onion, just going to be seeing sort of what I've got in the cupboards to try. So I have got some frozen sweet corn in the fridge, and avocado. Obviously a smaller size is low Fodmap anyway, but when you start going up, it then goes into the reintroduction stages. So yeah, I think I'm just going to sort of see how it goes. I'm going to be documenting it all, hopefully in my low Fodmap, in my tummy diary even, but I have been really bad at remembering to stay on writing everything down. But it is just so good if you do keep a track of all of your symptoms, because then you can tell what day you had the symptoms, because 10 weeks time I might have forgotten how I feel after eating a certain product. And obviously it is really good to do all your symptoms in the elimination phase as well, but I have just been terrible at remembering to write it down, which you think with lockdown I'd be good at remembering, but no. I'm also going to try and remember to film some of it for you guys so you can see a bit more of my journey. Again, I will try my best to remember. But yeah, I'm just going to sort of see how it goes. If you guys have any advice for the reintroduction phase, please let me know, because I do need all the help I can get. I've been watching lots of videos as well. Like I said, I'll put the links down to those below. There's quite a few YouTubers and gluten-free bloggers who talk about the reintroduction and low Fodmap in general, especially Becky XL. She's done quite a few videos on the low Fodmap diet, so I definitely recommend checking those out as well. But yeah, I'm kind of excited, kind of scared about reintroducing the foods. Hopefully I don't start getting really painful bloating again and running to the toilet all the time, because that is just never fun. But yeah, it feels like the end's almost in sight now, that I can start personalising it and sort of trying the different foods. So I'm thinking maybe once I finish this stage of the diet, before obviously reintroducing everything back, because that's not really how the diet works, that I'll probably try foods that maybe have both of the groups in it. So maybe trying a gravy that's got both garlic and onion in it, just to see if I can still tolerate that. Because even say I can tolerate that, if I then have loads of other high Fodmap foods, that might then cause a trigger, just because there's such a high amount, even though I might not have reacted to every part of that meal individually. But yeah, I'm excited to try it. I will continue to keep you updated on my Instagram and Facebook and all of my other things on my website and here. But yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below any ideas about reintroduction for me. Is there any certain foods that you found really worked for your reintroduction? Are there certain foods that triggered you straight away? Let me know and I will see you soon. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Bye!